Hey everyone, how's everybody doing today on Inaugurational Day and Martin Luther King Day? Hope everybody's doing well. I had a request on someone that one of my viewers wanted me to do a video on why I didn't have kids and about how society kind of dictates that we should have kids. But society dictates a lot of different things that I don't ever follow. I never follow the trends. It's just so funny how some of my friends are that way. They follow the trends. They go out and buy all these different clothes. They go out and buy all this stuff that's trendy. Not me. Not me. I don't do that. And, I knew early on that I didn't want to have kids. I knew early on that I didn't want to get married either. So, my whole take on it is I just didn't want to be responsible for those kids. I don't mind being responsible for my dogs, but I just know if you have kids, you're responsible pretty much their entire lives. And I just didn't want to take that responsibility because, I could instill good morals and values and raise the kid the right way, and they could still, still turn on you and still not be a good kid and do nasty things to other people. And I just didn't want to have that responsibility. Am I selfish? No, I'm selfless because I didn't want to be one of those people that got in a relationship, had kids right away, and resented the fact that I made that decision. I didn't want to be accountable for the kids. And I think that's the responsible way to do it. And I was never directed by society. I never let society control me. And it hasn't. I do what's best for Tom. I don't do what's best for what everybody's telling me. You should have kids, you should do this, you should do that. Okay, that's fine. You can have your opinion all you want, but like my neighbor told me 20 years ago about what she would say to people that would try to give their opinion on something she's doing, and she says, your opinion of me is none of my business. And that is the best statement to say to somebody because she's right. If I ask for your opinion, that's fine. I will take it in account. But when people automatically think it's okay to just give their opinion, no. And that's the same way with society. Society thinks that we should have kids. Society thinks we should have a wife or a partner. Society thinks we should have this, that, everything. And I don't believe that we should follow society because I think society's failing us because people are pushed into having kids that don't really want kids, so they don't raise them the right way. They're not in their life, and then they don't contribute anything to society, and they just take from society. And granted, you need to take a little bit from society, but you also need to give back to society. And if that's the case, if you're take, what benefit is that person going to be in this world to anybody? And that's my whole point, is when people are forced to have kids or think they need to have kids, and then they resent it, and then they don't raise them the right way, and then we've got all these idiot kids running around with no parenting done, and they're just letting them do whatever they want to do, and because they're directed by society to be an unruly citizen, it's not right. You shouldn't have kids. And the thing about it is I think a lot of people too, they have kids right after they get married. And we're talking about your relationship's new with this partner. Yeah, you may have known them for a while, but you never lived with them. And if you did live with them, that's great. But once you live with somebody, you learn a lot about the person. And a lot of the people that I know that have kids right after they get married, they don't, after the kids leave, they usually get a divorce. A lot of people I've seen, because the problem is they didn't work on their relationship with their partner and understand their person, and they just brought another kid into their life, and now the focus is on the kid and not on the relationship. It's all about what the kid's doing, blah 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 blah. And that's great if you have a good relationship, but that's the whole thing for me, is you have to nurture your kids. You have to have an influence into their life, and a positive one. And I think that's a lot of people's problem is they resent their kids so much that they don't want anything. They either are very controlling and want them to do certain things, or they're exact opposite where they don't want anything to do with their kids and they don't want anything. And that was kind of the case with me growing up. Is my parents, my mom was very nurturing, my dad was very nurturing. They're both nurturing people to me early on, which was good. But as I grew older and they allowed me to do things like fix my own breakfast, do that kind of thing at the age of 10, they started pulling away from the discipline, which was fine. I mean, I had good, nurturing skills, as far as that. But then they put more responsibility on me, and I had to be a mature person at a very young age. I was really never really able to be a kid because I was babysitting my younger sister. And I'm not saying it was bad or, I was a much more mature person as I went into my teens. And in my early 20s, I was very mature for my age. I wasn't irresponsible, which was good in a way and bad because I was never able to be a kid. And I think that's the key when people get married and have kids right away is the distraction's a kid, and you never really you have the companionship and you have the support if you're in a good relationship. And that's my whole thing is I don't understand all these people that are in these bad relationships just to be with somebody. And it's like, you don't have even good companionship. And you have to have a good relationship before you start to have kids, because once those kids are gone, you're going to be sitting there looking at each other going, I don't even know what makes you tick anymore. I don't know what makes you, because it's been all about the kids, and then you're looking at each other. And that's why I think a lot of people separate and get a divorce after their kids are long gone. And I know of women, especially, they got married to have kids, and then they don't even want their husbands to touch them afterwards or have sex with them because they're so traumatized about having kids because that's what they wanted to do. And then they realize what they did, and then they don't really want anything to do with their husband, and they don't really want anything to do with the kids, but they're being involved with the kids because they had the kids, and they're resentful afterwards. And then, I think that's talking about midlife crisis. I think that's a lot of people. I think that's the reason why I haven't had a midlife crisis, because I didn't have kids. And I think when you focus your energy when you have kids early on, and then they're gone, and you were never able to do the things you wanted to do back then, and so now you're able to do them, and that's why I think a lot of people do that, and why they call it a midlife crisis, because, thanks, churro, that they never got to do it because they had kids and they did things early on that they couldn't do, and so now they're doing them when they can, and it happens to be in their midlife. So anyway, that being said, there's a lot of variables to wanting to have kids, and I don't think society should push people into having kids, and I don't think they should think it's not natural to not have kids or to not be married. And I think you should, I've always not let society control me or push me or peer pressure or anything like that. Did I not have peer pressure in school? Yeah, when I was in middle school and high school, yeah, I had peer pressure, but not as an adult. I'm not going to have society dictate what I need to do in life, because I need to do what's best for Tom. And this is what's best for Tom. And it's not selfish, it's selfless. Because if you're going to bring another human being into this world, you need to be prepared for all different things that can happen. And just know that kid's probably not going to turn out the way you want it to turn out. And it can go either way. If you have a strong presence in your kid's life and you really want to raise them right, or you're not with them, that's my whole thing. I didn't want to be accountable or responsible for that human being all of its life. And I'm okay with it. I didn't need to have kids. And I think too, a lot of people have kids because they think they're going to take care of them when they get sick and they're older. And I'm just going to try to stay healthy and take care of myself as I get into my older ages. But there's a lot of cultures that do that. They have kids only because they want the kids to take care of them. And it's usually those cultures, they're in their life, a whole life. And to me, it's selfish for parents to think that their kids are going to take care of them when it was their idea to bring them into this life. And that's another key thing too, is when those kids graduate from college and start their own life, it's not going to be like the type of thing where they're going to disrupt their life that they've started to come help you. And that's the key thing too, and we shouldn't be required to as children. And I think that's another thing that goes on too, is that people have kids for all the wrong reasons. And some of it is pressure from society, but I think too, they have other alternate plans for their kids, and their kids don't really have a choice in different cultures. So that being said, I just wanted to talk about this. I don't know if you did feel the same way or have a different view of having kids. My thing is it's not about, what do they say? Carry on the name. That wasn't my goal. It doesn't matter to me if my last name's going to be carried on. It doesn't matter to me, and it's not my responsibility to do that. And I think too, a lot of parents think that they should do that, and I don't think that's the case. So I don't feel that way. I don't feel that way at all. It's not my responsibility. You brought me into this life, and I should be able to live my life the way I want to live it. So anyway, if you like this video, like and subscribe, and I thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one.